Hello, coming to you off the back of finishing a product viz job for Epson. And I thought I'd create a video talking about 3-point lighting, why it's good, and how you can set it up in Blender. Rim light, fill light, and key light. This is a standard for lighting many different subjects. Let's start off with a couple of examples. These subjects are inherently three-dimensional, but one feels a little bit more three-dimensional than the other. This is largely the reason behind the key, fill, and rim of 3-point lighting, a simple standard that originated from early cinema when shooting inside to best communicate the shapes of the subject. Right, for our example, we are going to light this product here, some earbuds, and we have our rendered view on the left and our 3D viewport over here on the right. Don't worry about these two blue dots here. These are just emissive lights or status lights on the earbuds. So to start with, our world shader color, the background color is completely black. It usually defaults to somewhere around here, but we don't want any environment light contributing to our scene. We want to lean on and see what our 3-point lighting can do. So with that said, let's introduce our first light here with Shift and A. Let's go with light area light. It's way too big. Let's scale it down and reduce the power accordingly. The reason we are using an area light is because this is pretty much what a photographer would choose. A softbox for a large light source that creates soft shadows and gradient wraps around our object, which we will talk about in a second. So I've moved the light above our earbuds and I'm hitting R and holding Control to snap to increments. And we're hitting our 45-degree point here. So let's commit to that, position it slightly above, rotate it and move it off to one side. I'm just going to scale mine down ever so slightly. Cool, that's our key light. So let's hit F2 and rename it as such. And the reason we have positioned our light above, pointing down, and off to the left, pointing slightly right, is so we can take advantage of the inherent gradients that will create. So we have it brighter at the top here, and this reduces down darker, but then horizontally it stays roughly the same. So we are clued into the fact that this is a fairly flat surface. And the same here, because we have more rounded shapes, those gradients are affected in multiple axes, and we are again better informed to the shape. You can see it as well if you were to photograph something completely symmetrical and this light were to be dead center, you wouldn't really be able to distinguish left and right. With that said, we are not completely clued in here. We have a lot of dark areas that mask what the actual shape of our object is. Thankfully, our next light, the fill light, which I'm going to create with Shift and D, duplicating this light, Alt and R just to reset the rotation, then R, then Y, then 90 to rotate it 90 degrees along the Y axis. Let's rename that to fill so as not to get confused. And I'm going to scale it up considerably and bring it somewhere there. And we can reduce the power slightly too. Now the fill light's function here is basically to ensure that at no point does the shading or shadow completely fall to black, obscuring the shape. It lifts the shadows ever so slightly so we can at least see everything a tiny amount. And it is positioned on the opposite side of our key light here because that's where all of the shadow area will be. Okay, onto our final light. So let's Shift and D our fill light, rename it as rim light. This is also called backlight or hair light if you are lighting someone with hair. So let's move it to the back here. Scale it up a bit and we can increase the power. And you can see the effect this has quite prominently. This is the last step in ensuring we fully understand the shape of our object here, because it effectively outlines it. Now the background is quite simple, but if it were complex, you could see how this would do a great job also of lifting it from that background so you can fully appreciate the silhouette of our subject. So that is the basics of 3-point lighting and why it is used. It is, however, worth noting that it is more for not getting bad lighting than it is for getting great and appropriate lighting for your scene. But don't worry, I have some top tips to help you progress with your lighting further. Number 1 is follow photography and cinematography YouTubers. There is a wealth of experience out there, and these channels often offer much more in-depth and considered lighting information. There is a list down in the description. Take up photography or video. Do you want a real-time, realistic sandbox to practice your lighting? Then there is the real world, and it will placate those people that tell you to go out and touch grass. Experimentation. In Blender, I like to commit a few lighting collections up front to give you the space to create a variety of options. Remove friction. This brings us on nicely to our video sponsor, the Light Wrangler add-on. I'm going to relight this scene and show you just some of what it can do. First up, we add a light by right-clicking Light Operations and Add Light, and here we can use the Reflect mode to position our highlight pretty much exactly where we want it. And while doing that, the scroll wheel on our mouse gains superpowers for adjusting the brightness, and with the Shift, Control and Alt modifier keys, distance, angle and size. The light is also not just a uniform light, it mimics a softbox with, among other things, the ability to virtually tilt it and create these really nice gradient highlights. There's also a bunch of real-world high dynamic range lights, including studio lights and gobos to add that little extra bit of visual interest. Anyway, this really is just scratching the surface, so if you're interested and you're viewing not too long after the video went live, then there is a pretty healthy discount going on, so you can check it out in the link in the description to find out more. We have uploaded the earbuds used in this video over at cgboost.com/resources, so feel free to use this scene as long as it is not for commercial use to experiment with lighting, and if you do, then don't forget to share on the CG Boost community or on social media, and you can mention us on our various handles. And if you want to dive deeper into the fundamentals, then you might want to check out the Master Cinematic Storytelling course, where Martin covers not only lighting, but composition, color theory, depth, value, and a whole lot more. Or maybe you want to join me in creating Frogbot, a full step-by-step production of this little robot frog. Either way, I'll see you next time, and happy creating.